What are the best exercises for strong knees? This is video 6 in a series of 100 where I'm going to answer the 100 most common questions I'm asked. Now, I have already answered questions around preventing knee injuries, and in that video I spoke about how the knees are slave to what happens at the ankle and hip. You can check that one out, you'll get a bit of theory there and a few other ideas, but in this one I'm going to look at exercises specific to the knee itself. Now, a great exercise, which you probably have seen, is a reverse Nordic, starting with some straps or some sort of support. We're going to look to tuck the hips under, push into the feet, and we're leaning back. And we're basically just using these to come up, so we're only doing the lowering eccentric phase. Now, for a lot of people, this is a pretty gnarly place to start, and I've come up with what I call a single leg reverse Nordic as a good bridge to get to there. And in many ways, I think the result is just the same anyway. So we come into a kneeling lunge. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to tuck my pelvis under and I'm going to push into the top of my foot. So my foot is flat behind me, hip tucks under, and if I start to lean back, you'll start to feel a stretch and a load come into the front of my left hip here. I'm going to go hands on my chest. I'm going to lean back. I'm going to look to do holds of up to around 10 seconds initially. Now you can see when I do actually do this movement, when I tuck the hip under, I'm only moving from this part here. The hip stays put, so all of my leaning is in my upper body. So a few sets of 10 seconds of those, that's a really good one. I love working with carries of any sort, and this is a little one I came up with to also help with our knees. So we're basically just going to grab anything heavy, and as we're walking, we're going to look to come into a position where I've got my leg out in front. I'm going to lean over my knee here. And notice that I am also bending my knee forward. So my knees are coming over my toes. I'm going to pause here for a few seconds at a time. So it kind of looks like this. Let that knee bend. My weight even starts to come into my toes as I shift forward, and I do a little pause here. Now, I had a funny question in a previous video where somebody asked, isn't this channel about stretching and this sort of thing? Funnily enough, this is still a stretch. When we come into this movement, we're loading our quads eccentrically, they're stretching. But the beauty of both of these exercises is that we're transferring load into the tendon. So in order to get load into the tendon, what we want to do is we want to get a muscle on stretch, and we want to put some sort of intensity or load into it. That way the muscle's almost contracted as much as it can, and we're going to see some load transfer into the tendon. That's what's good for your knees as far as I'm concerned with this sort of stuff. If you have any questions, please ask. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.